Welcome back, Commander.
I'm on it.
Finally, we've made it to the Covert Operations expansion.
Yeah, I'm on it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Apologies for the cold open. The missions, when it comes to the expansions, have all been added to the main menu. However, because they're all added to the main menu under the new missions tab, it does mean that if we actually go to the main menu and open that tab, it will show all the levels available to us. And due to the nature of this expansion, kind of spoils a few things. So, for the meantime, we'll just be seeing these cold opens.
I've got a present for you.
Not that it really changes all that much anyways, simply because the mission titles don't always give something away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got it. I'm on it. You've got a present for you.
Now, the GDI missions, which is what I'll be playing through first, we'll see these missions follow the same sort of structure, in the sense that there's no real tie to other missions, as far as I know. Could be wrong. I haven't checked into all of the different missions available to us. That being said, there's no time on these in terms of like dates, and there's no mention of like other characters in the briefings specifically. The briefings are all just FMV, or not FMV, but just the 3D stuff.
Vehicle reporting. Moving out.
I'm on it.
Now this mission, relatively simple. It's just a matter of destroy the power plant base.
Yes, sir.
Then,
Waiting order.
once you've been able to establish your base with an MCV as a reinforcements, quote unquote, all you got to do is destroy the NOD forces.
I've got a present for you. No problem. Yeah. Yo.
It's a good thing this level gives us 2 commandos, because of the fact that enemies spawn whenever you blow up their building. Could make things really messy.
Yes, affirmative.
New construction. Building.
At this point in time of recording, I have gone through most of the GDI stuff. So, like, currently I'm probated because of my spoiling of stuff. And that being said, it's interesting to see that this mission gives you the airstrikes right away. All you have to do is, reveal the flame tank at the power plant base.
Building.
No problem. Yeah, you got it. Yes, I'm on it.
There are some, I don't want to say issues, more of limitations with this game. And we'll see the differences between this game and others in the future, obviously. But it should be noted that those obelisks of light that were at the bottom, the turrets you can kind of just like forget, because they won't destroy an MCV that's driving past. The obelisks can. And the issue is that those obelisks are tied just to the player's power supply.
Ready.
So if something were to happen to the NOD player, where you would, where the AI would, say, produce another power plant just of its own free will,
Unit ready.
it would then repower, quote unquote, the base, and by that same extent, the obelisk of light.
Ready and wait.
There's also an issue where destroying one obelisk of light will repower, like it'll give enough power to repower the second one. So you have to be careful as to how you choose to go about things.
Select target.
In one of my runs, I destroyed one obelisk of light, and then it turned out that the other one just immediately shot my commando. I wasn't ready for it. And I had a couple other ones where I'd just ignore the obelisk completely.
Unit ready.
The harvesters would go in to harvest and then suddenly get shot. And at that point,
Unit
like depending on how far they're in, harvesters are just too slow and too stupid, so it takes forever.
Moving out.
Unit ready.
Ready and waiting. Reporting. Roger.
All said and done, this map at least gives us a very nice amount of Tiberium to play with.
Construction complete.
So it's more about build speed and limitations on like technology and how you prefer to build up your army.
Waiting order. Reporting. Not a problem. Reporting. Got it.
Building.
Ready and waiting. Right away, sir. Moving out. Moving out. Yes. You got it.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Ready and waiting. Reporting. Moving out. Affirmative. Yes. Yes.
What is your mission?
Ready and waiting. Affirmative.
Come on.
Roger.
Construction complete.
We will stop them now.
I should note that throughout the campaigns, I guess I should say, we've seen that the AI has been able to replace buildings wherever they want.
Come on.
There is one important thing that I'm not sure if I've mentioned, but I probably will by the time we get to some more map dissections, which will most likely occur before I post this video. Regardless of the timeline, it should be noted that the AI is actually set on replacing certain buildings or not. It's a scripted thing. So, for instance, if the AI was set to replace the obelisk lights and turrets that we've seen on the perimeter and guarding the way into our base from the southwest, it would actually replace them. It's given that ability via the code. You can see that also in other instances where the AI won't replace helipads, which I mentioned in map dissection 4 for Nod. I believe it is 4. Anyways, point is that it's actually told whether or not it should replace a building or two.
Waiting order.
Unit ready. Building.
Got it. Roger.
In a way, it's
Right away, sir.
understandable because there's certain things that just, they're trying to make the game harder for players, or it takes more skill, or you have to be more aware of what's going on. I get it. At the same point, though, it does show that the AI gets a very nice benefit, and it's a lot of trial and error to figure out what can and cannot be replaced if you don't willingly choose to spoil missions beforehand.
Yo, no problem. Yo, yes, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yeah, no problem.
So I have a couple of commandos, as previously mentioned, but I don't really feel like they're going to be useful to me. And since I don't have any means of actually healing a commando,
Construction.
I might as well just use them to scout a little bit.
You got it.
Reporting. Affirmative. Knowledge.
Yeah, you
Lost.
got it.
Reporting.
I'm not quite sure what this not buggy is supposed to do.
Reporting. Yes, sir.
Sometimes it's a little more obvious what the AI tries to do.
Unit reporting.
Like, I can't tell if it tried to go after the harvester on the left with the nod buggy, but then it got into the refinery, so it defaulted to a different harvester. I'm not sure.
Sir. Knowledge. Reporting. Yes. Moving out. Affirmative.
Building.
It's also interesting that Tiberium is destroyed by flames. Initially, I thought it would have just been the airstrikes because it's a combination of, say, explosion and fire. But as we saw, just kind of on the side there, when the two flamethrower soldiers blew up, they also took out Tiberium. So it's important to note how that could affect a either a multiplayer game or just your game in general.
Yes, sir. I'm on it.
I don't think there's anything that suggests that just straight up flames can destroy Tiberium, but maybe I'll have to test that out at a later date.
Yes, sir. I'm on it. I'm on it. Morning. You got it. Yo, I'm on it. Morning. Moving out. Ready and I'm on it. Morning.
You know, I really hate when the AI of the soldiers just kind of like stops them from doing stuff.
Yes, sir. You got it. Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir. I'm on it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You got it.
Yes,
Yo, yo, I'm on it.
Building.
Keep them coming. Yeah, you got it. Yes, sir. I'm on it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On hold.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yo, I'm on it.
I'm pretty sure I'll be using that airstrike against the turret. I was just kind of hoping something else would happen. And that not being infantry popping out of a light tank and instantly sniping my commando. That was just painful to watch.
Select target. Unit lost.
You know, I'm gonna admit, when you have 3 A-10s that you can just do whatever you want with, sometimes it's just nice to toss them into the ether and see what happens. Like, now I know where their construction yard is, and we've seen that 3 A-10s are more than enough to destroy a construction yard, so
On hold.
if I play my cards right, I should be sniping that ASAP. Keyword is should, though. I usually record these commentaries a little bit after the fact, so...
Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir.
I guess I should mention that I don't particularly like cheesing maps, just because like I never felt like I needed to when I was playing Red Alert or later entries in the series. And this is my first time going through just this,
Right away, sir.
the different covert ops missions and the Tiberian Dawn campaign as a whole. So
Waiting order. You got it.
it's
Waiting order. Moving out.
like it'll happen eventually, but I try not to if I, unless it's a mission that's running me 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Reporting. Moving out.
Also, I should mention the timer does not calculate. Like, again, I know I've mentioned this before, but it does not calculate real time. It calculates real time modified by the game control speed.
Moving out. Waiting order. Yes, sir. You got it. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, affirmative. Waiting. Moving out.
Construction complete.
So it seems that the AI has 2 construction yards.
Building.
Waiting
And unfortunately, Grenadiers just seem to be really bad right now at doing anything.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Another thing that's really nice about being swarmed by a flame tank like that is that it eventually ends up killing whatever's nearby.
Unit lost.
That's why the stealth tank just blew up, because the flame tank was just murdering it.
Awaiting Roger. You've got it.
Airstrike ready.
Right away, sir.
Eagle-eyed viewers will note that Nod has a very special building available to it.
Select target.
You know, I feel like the soundtrack is just really nice with this song. It's a shame that you can't actually like get any like albums or anything for this band. Like, I can't find anything about them in terms of like music-wise. There just seems to be like Destructible Times, and that's about it. Granted, maybe it's just more of a fact of like my current location and a few other things, but so, as it turns out, you cannot capture a Temple of Nod. So, this entire endeavor has kind of gone to crap. On the plus side, though, I managed to capture his construction yard. On the downside, he nukes me. Now, it was pointed out in the thread, and I guess not only does this particular instance confirm it, but we'll be seeing it maybe abused a little bit in the future. The AI has a absolute tendency to target a advanced guard tower. I'm not sure if it's probably like the northern leftmost advanced guard tower or something, but regardless of what the actual condition or specific condition for which one it will target, it will specifically target advanced guard towers. This means that you could, say, get some sandbags and build them out into a place in the middle of nowhere and just use that as bait.
Select target.
It should be pointed out that a sandbag is not destroyed by a nuke. Sandbags, for whatever reason, survive. I believe the same thing happens with chain link fences and concrete walls, but yeah, it's interesting to say the least that that's like an actual thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Waiting. Yeah, you got it. Unit reporting. Affirmative. You've got a problem. Vehicle reporting.
Airstrike ready. Select target. Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Reporting. Not a problem. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Awaiting orders.
Yeah, so as it turns out, A10's not so great against Temples of Nod, so
Right away, sir. Reporting.
I think I'm gonna have to fix that with my mammoth tanks.
Vehicle reporting.
Building.
Waiting orders. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Probably after I, like, depower them. Probably the safer option.
Unit report. Affirmative. Unit report. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, Roger.
Usually when I'm throwing away units like this, it's to test to see if the power is still up. Other exceptions are just, I hate having, like, units that I won't be able to do anything effective with, so I'd usually just toss them anyways. Sometimes it goads the AI into, you know, just, like, dumping a unit or two. Like, they'll send something as, like, a retaliatory attack, and hey, it all works out in the end, but
Building.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
mostly it's just to get rid of useless stuff.
Building.
Yes, sir.
So it's rather important to note that, for the most part, these levels do tend to run on a little long, just because I guess they're just supposed to be, like, really tough, so expect, like, if you happen to play this, for whatever reason, expect to have to restart at least twice, I'd say, per map. Not that things are, you know, intensely confusing, or just, like, with no explanation whatsoever, because that will be the case no matter what. Like, there's some things that just aren't explained, and the player just has to figure it out. But it's just one of those things where the missions are going to be tough, period. So, you know, prepare for that sort of eventuality.
Cancel. On hold.
Vehicle reporting. Vehicle acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Yep, moving out. Waiting, moving out. Unit acknowledged. Yes, sir.
I really don't know.
Construction.
Like, I know I saw the Chinook. Somehow I didn't see the engineers the first time around, and I'm really unsure as to why the AI just had them parked there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Not that I'm complaining or anything, it's just
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
a strange decision.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Unit affirmative. Yes, sir. Moving out. Waiting order. Yes, sir. Yes, affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
Airstrike ready. Construction complete. Ion cannon ready.
Now, technically, if I was, like, with hindsight and being a little smarter about stuff, I should have used the A-10s against the right base
Ion cannon charging.
rather than on the left side, but,
Unit affirmative. Unit reporting.
you know, hindsight and all that.
Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle moving out. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Like, it's a little harder to dodge two SAM sites immediately when you're flying directly towards them.
Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Building.
Unit reporting.
On the plus side, I just realized that the obelisk of light was blown up, so
Yes, sir. Moving out. Acknowledged.
that 4 build limit on the right scroll bar is something I can't wait to get rid of as well.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit moving out. Unit, yes, sir. Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Moving. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. sir. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit affirmative. Unit. Yes, sir. Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Now, because of the fact that this level, like most that we'll see, requires you to destroy all enemy units on the map, it includes the buildings, so normally I'd probably go like straight to the enemy base, try to kill the harvesters so they can't build anymore, but you know, I don't want another slow slog at the end, which is probably going to happen anyways, but
Construction complete.
at least it'll be done a little bit better,
Construction
Moving
complete.
out.
maybe.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yeah, I'm probably just trying to convince myself at this point.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Primary building selected.
Unit acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting orders. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it seems the only thing that's really like preventing me from doing more right now is the weird pathfinding.
Building.
Could be worse, I guess.
Vehicle reporting. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting.
Airstrike ready.
Acknowledged. Yep, yes, yep. Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. No. Moving out.
Oh hey, they got power back.
Moving out. Unit report. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Not a problem. Waiting orders. Waiting orders. Acknowledged.
Unit lost. Select target.
Unit reporting. Affirmative.
I could have probably gone after power instead, but truth be told, Ion Cannon does a good enough job at that anyways, so.
Construction complete. Building.
Not quite sure why I'm like completely retreating.
Waiting. Yes, sir.
Should be just like sitting on their Tiberium fields.
Moving out. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Like especially with Ion Cannon coming up, I can see the corner of a power plant
Select target.
from the Fog of War.
Ion cannon charging.
Oh, and guess what? I missed with
Yes, sir.
the hand of Nod again.
Acknowledged.
It's the one thing. It's why I don't like the hand of Nod. It's just, or at least I should say, like the Ion Cannon. It's so counterintuitive where you need to hit on certain buildings that it just makes its use completely like and utterly frustrating. I can hit like power plants, seems to be no issue,
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
but man, a hand of Nod, I might as well just restart the mission sometimes.
Building.
Or just save scum. One of the two.
Unit moving out. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
So anyways, we've been here long enough, and the AI seems to be amazing at just like rebuilding everything it needs to.
Yes, sir. Yep. Acknowledged. Moving out.
Construction complete.
Yep. Affirmative. Yes. Affirmative.
Now initially I just wanted to kind of like sneak in my units
Unit. Yes, sir.
in between like the dead zones of the left and right obelisk, but Yeah, let's face it, that probably wasn't going to happen no matter what.
Moving out. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
So a force of, what, 9, I think, mammoth tanks turns, and it gets whittled down to probably 3.
Unit lost.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Just goes to show that, like, that's the power of the Obelisk of Light, is that if you're not careful, it'll just,
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
it really ruins GDI attacks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, acknowledged. Acknowledged.
And if the player is smart enough to, like, constantly be rebuilding walls or something, then it's even stronger, because,
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, there's not much in the GDI arsenal that can shoot over walls.
Yes, waiting orders. Waiting orders. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Vehicle reporting. Unit reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit reporting.
Oh hey, look, it's that Chinook again.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Don't ask me why he flies to the right and then pops back out.
Moving out.
I cannot explain it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting. Yes, sir.
Airstrike ready. Select target.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting. Acknowledged. Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
It's a little weird that, for whatever reason, like, I only have one A10 now, so I guess they are a resource that if you destroy them, they might not come back. Or something. I don't know.
Is under attack. Construction complete.
Yeah, I was really worried that that those units would just come into my base and kind of mess up something. But yeah, it turns out the advanced guard tower just did enough work.
Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting.
And yeah, basically this is mop-up time. Looking at the map, you can see that there's that hill on the top portion of the Nod base. It's interesting that's there, because you could easily sneak in like an APC with, say, 5 or so rocket soldiers, and probably pull some nasty trick on the construction yard. But aside from that, there's not much really that you can do. It's just like a straight up advance into enemy base type stuff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ion cannon ready.
It's interesting that you see it a lot more, that the AI has like 2 construction yards, and one seems to be,
Yes, sir.
I don't want to say at a random location, but in a very like far off corner of the map. Thankfully, it's not like a always type thing. It just seems to be more common now.
Moving out. Unit reporting. Acknowledged. Unit reporting.
Building.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, Lieutenant. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Building on hold. Building on hold. On hold. Unable to mission accomplished.